Hello everyone, welcome to The Slice, a podcast that's focused on elevating the wealth of Africans globally, and it is brought to you by Kebu. My name is Toby David and I'm here with...
Hello guys, it's Jam. How you guys doing today? Toby, how was your weekend?
Yes, weekend. Our weekend was disappointing, but...
What happened?
It's a long story. Basically, I went out and there was rain.
Sorry.
There was rain, so it wasn't all that. It wasn't as bad as I wanted it to be. Anyways, how was your weekend?
It was good. It was just good. What did I do? I don't know what I did though. I just walked actually. Most of the time I was walking and doing meetings.
You walk weekend. Anyways, God be with you.
So what are we talking about today?
So these are 7th episode. So
yay, 7th.
Shout out to everyone that's been listening since our first. More awesome episodes to come. And if you have not checked out our former episodes, then go check them out on our page.
Nice.
So
we're everywhere. Just let you guys know.
Everywhere as in how?
We're like on Google Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Anchor, we're everywhere.
Yeah. So any platform that has podcasts, we are there.
Yeah.
So no excuses. One day, probably be on YouTube, but that one is until then. So today we are talking about the infamous ASUU strike. If you are a resident in the country, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, then you are probably aware of the ASUU strike. So can you just give us an intro for the ASUU strike?
So for anyone that doesn't know, let's say that you're just like,
since you're not in that space,
you're not in that
space again. Maybe something
you've
that
graduated in the US,
50,
or maybe ASUU strike is reaching your ear, and you're like in the US, and you've never even visited Nigeria. You're hearing ASUU, and it's trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect episode for you. And if you're like a student and you're like wondering what the hell is going on, this is also the perfect episode for you as well. So essentially, like ASUU is the body, it's like the labor union that sort of governs all the, let's say the professors or the teachers in major universities in Nigeria. So that is their body, right? So ASUU is the Academic Staff Union of University, ASUU. And they're it's an offshoot of the Nigerian Association of University Teachers, comprising of university teaching staff. So essentially it's the body that sort of organizes that. And the strike is usually a national phenomenon. Every year they always go on this weird strike, but this has probably been the longest so far. And I mean, it's been choking because this is not the first time, and I don't really think this will be the last time. I don't know how much they are owing them. I don't know. Someone was mentioning that it's close to $1 trillion or more than $1 trillion at the moment.
Well, it's only we don't know the exact figures. I mean, news people can report on it, but we don't know the exact figures. Or we know that it's in excess of $1 billion. That one is for sure, and it's just sad.
And I think more universities are joining the strike.
Yes.
How did this whole thing start, to be honest?
So what started the ASUU strike was that back in 1988, they organized the union was existing at the time. So they organized a strike, and the reason why they organized it was to agitate for university autonomy. What that means is that they were trying to reduce all the bureaucracy. Let me break down that word again. Bureaucracy is when there's a lot of steps for things to be done. For example, if you go to a federal-owned school, for them to renovate your toilets, to take letters upon letters upon letters. Meanwhile, if you went to like a private school, the owner can just come and see, the toilet is bad, and give money towards that reason. So they were just trying to end that autonomy whereby universities can make decisions by themselves without writing letters to the minister of this or the minister of that. So that's what they were agitating for. So Babangida was in office at that time, and he responded by seizing all their property because they agitated. But he allowed them to operate after much dramatics. So he allowed them to operate back in 1990. And then ever since then there has been back and forth. So ASUU usually for ASUU to get heard by the government, they need to, and I think it's a very massive Nigerian problem where, for example, for people to answer you, you need to really become something else. Unless people not, even when you like go to stores and it's your turn, but someone just cuts in just because the person's voice was louder than yours. A lot of times you need to like really voice out before anybody really listens to you. So that one is the beginning of the strike. So this current strike status, this was started back in March. So they started with the 2-week warning, and then from 2 weeks. So usually when the ASUU strike starts, they start with a warning strike. That one is to tell you that we are coming. Then after the warning strike, then they go into full force. And then I think the peak of it is the indefinite. Indefinite means
till we see again.
Till we see, that's the perfect phrase. So till we see again. So this was started with 2-week strike back in March, and they have been on it since March till. So it has graduated all the tiers. It has gone through the warning strike tiers. It has gone through. Okay, we are doing it for 3 months now. Now it's just indefinite. So since March, that's how many months now?
I mean, it should be reaching more than 6 months at this point.
March, April, May, June, July, August, September.
Yeah. So
it's 6 months.
My own issue is that I think we've not been able to prioritize education as much as we would love to. I mean, I think currently the budget is taking roughly 5% allocating to education. That's how low they think of our future, to be honest. Like when we see this, you're just thinking that the government doesn't prioritize the value that they put into their citizens, or the value that they want their citizens to have. And we don't really, like, I think in the last episode we were talking about the resources that we have, you get, and the only resource currently that we have is the oil that we can export. The ones that we've managed to even create, they're even leaving us. They're not even bringing people. So
that's true.
They're like, everybody is going either to the UK or to Canada.
When you look, I was even seeing a stat recently that was saying that the highest among the people that applied and got workers visa for the UK, Nigeria had the second highest population. That is among all the countries, and in the world there are 157 countries or so, and among all of them, Nigeria had the second highest number of successful applicants. That is crazy. That is not even a brain drain anymore. Is it a brain drain they call it?
It's literally a brain drain from the country. Like, and the idea is that you would want people to, we have everybody that is thinking of maybe they're doing spinal cord surgery, they always go to like India or something, or go abroad to the US or something like that. We have these resources here to actually produce the best candidates. We've just not been, allocating enough resources to producing those candidates. And the issue, funny enough, this podcast is always about how do we solve these issues. For me, I feel like they should privatize these universities.
Privatize?
Yes. I feel like someone like Dangote should buy Unilag. And I've been saying it so many times, like, these universities, they are not properly run. The government, they don't know how to run universities. Like, when you think of what is the best university right now?
In terms of what?
Just name your top 2.
Top 2?
Yes.
Top 2 will be UI and... top 3. UI, Unilag, Covenant.
Why Covenant?
Covenant is private and they handle their business well.
Why the reason why you think of UI and Unilag, is it because of legacy? Do they have like legacy embedded in them, or they actually produce solid people?
Most of the let's call it rep, or let me say it with the full. Most of the reputation they have is based on who they have produced in the past. So yes, legacy.
So how does Covenant why is Covenant in the top 3?
Because of constant improvement. I think each year when new ranking lists come out, you always top. Plus, there's always like innovation there and all that.
Let me tell you, like Covenant right now, Covenant I think is the only school in Nigeria that offers fintech as a course.
There's a fintech course.
Yes.
Wait, is it a course?
Like, I want to go and study fintech.
Like, I want to be a petroleum engineer.
Yes.
Serious?
Yes.
Wow.
To just think about, like, this is the point I'm trying to make, is that when a school is properly run, they are thinking about, again, it's expensive, to be honest.
That's one thing I was going to ask you. The cost will significantly go up if all universities were
Some people
privatized.
are not meant to go to school. Don't force people to go to school. I'm serious. Like, must you go to school? Think about it like this. If you check the university now, currently in Unilag, we are paying how much? Roughly.
You're done now.
Oh, sorry. We are paying
You're done.
15k
Yeah.
in a whole year.
I was paying 19k now.
19k in a whole. So that's a 20k in a whole year.
Rough round, 20k.
Sometimes your father doesn't remember that it's paying school fees.
Back then, it's told me that my school fees was shoe money.
So imagine if someone comes in and said, okay, for us to be able to get the best professors here, maybe get them the best training, maybe provide the best facilities for you. I don't know, you studied civil engineering.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you guys had the best facilities.
No, we didn't. we did not.
So like most of the things that you're probably going to learn, and as a civil engineer, you probably have to work in a civil engineering company.
And they orientate you
and you go through all of that. My issue now is that right now we don't have the facilities to bring out the best minds from universities.
Okay.
And it's only private institutions that have that.
Okay.
Right now. And my thesis around this is that maybe if someone comes in as a private, they obviously want to make it profitable.
Yes.
Some of the resources that we're spending in universities might be obsolete.
Okay.
So they might have to reduce cost.
Okay.
So they say some professors will have to go. some of those ghost workers will have to go.
Yes.
Some people are collecting like serious money from them. But I think that if they bump it up from 20,000 to 100,000 per annum, is still not a bad thing. Some courses might not be offered in schools.
That's true, because they will have to only focus on profit. Some courses are not profitable to this time and age.
Some again, I don't want to mention some courses here, but let's say you studied philosophy.
What's
Philosophy?
Philosophy is a course now.
Yeah, let's say you study it.
Okay.
What are you going to do with it in Nigeria?
But that's wait. There are actually things you can do in philosophy, but my own counter to that would be the reason why you're building universities and all that is so that you can build your country per se.
Yeah.
That means another thing you're also going to be doing is you're going to be building industries.
Yes.
So you are also want to go to build a very healthy. Where do philosophies work?
Exactly. There is, again, it's not like they don't add impact to the world in general. We need people that will think outside the box. We need people that will question maybe how societies are growing.
Yeah.
But like in terms of the raw output of a country, that cost might not be relevant. So maybe a school might not prioritize that department.
Okay.
So some departments might be scrapped off.
Okay.
Do you understand? At the end of the day,
but you're saying, where you're coming from is in a point of there are some courses that don't need to be general courses that every single school offers.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, some schools can offer them, and that will be their specialty.
That will be their specialty. And then, some schools can offer them, and that's fine.
Okay.
But if you want to run a profitable business, you have to cut the costs and you have to optimize on certain things that are doing well. So I just feel like this whole thing can actually be solved if someone, again, I'll be shouting Dangote. This is not the first time I'm saying this. But you can just come in and say, Unilag, how do I make this thing, even if it's to break even? Do you get?
Yes.
But it's still going to run really well, better than any other thing.
And then if you have a kind of arrangement whereby the government is an investor in these schools.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So, and then they can also give grants.
Government can be able to provide loans for people.
Yes.
Do you get? So if 100k is a lot, they can say, okay, we are providing grants.
And they provide, what's the name? Subsidy.
Subsidizing it and
subsidizing
it. But I just feel like this has gone on for too long. That people have to start thinking of what are the other alternatives. And if the government, I don't know whether the government has the money, because they're still owing airlines. We should talk about that one.
Yes.
But like, if the government is finding it so difficult to pay this thing, that means, to be honest, maybe the money is not there.
It's not there.
Or maybe they've not prioritized it that much, or they don't really care about us. Either of those three things. But like, something has to be done. And
the issue has gone on too long. We're talking 1988. 1988 till now is about And the way this year is looking, we are going for a record strike.
Yeah, 1 year.
Record strike, and that is
next year.
And that is a very sure sign that we are not developing, because we are supposed to be reducing the strike time. We are supposed to be reducing, but we are going from worst to worst. So, and it's just sad. But to those people out there who are being directly impacted by this, that is of course students that are supposed to be in school now.
If anything, it's not only students that are impacted by this.
Okay.
Like, there are students though, and obviously they are the main victims in all of this. But businesses that are being impacted by this.
That's true.
Some people that are running hostels now, I don't know what they're doing.
That's true.
Hostels are empty.
Very empty now. They even be
So
begging
their
people.
investments are dried down. Some auxiliary services around
The campus.
But
even every campus, because I think you stayed on campus, have you?
No, I stayed off campus.
Oh, okay. But you stay close to campus.
Yeah.
Me, I stayed on campus. So every campus is a small economy.
Yeah, but like that economy thrives well with students.
It thrives only with students. It's not it thrives well with students. If you don't have students coming to buy and you are in the middle of, nobody's leaving their house
to come to
from Egbeda to come to and buy your subsidized rice and this thing in the middle of Unilag. No one's doing that. So it's really affecting business owners too. So what do you think any student can do in this time, especially this extended period?
I mean, the first thing I think everybody just knows that the first thing is to learn a skill, and to learn a skill that is on demand. So I know that UI UX will come from me again, but yeah, you can learn UI UX, but don't learn it to the point that maybe you want to apply yourself. Trigger. Don't learn it because someone shouted on Twitter that they're making $1,000 in 2 minutes. And
what do you mean by apply yourself? Like to just use it and kill time?
Not like to kill time. I feel like there are ways that you can do really interesting projects, and there are so many ways that you can, start working on existing projects right now. Like, the world is opening up into like a global economy. So right now, a lot of projects are being built, a lot of companies are being built, a lot of startup ideas they finish.
That's true.
So this is the time that you might have to maybe come body with someone that maybe is more experienced, learn from the person, and just apply yourself consistently. And not just because the skill will provide money, because most of the time you have to do the skill over and over again for you to
get to that point where I think I saw something last week. The most powerful force is the force of consistency.
And that's true.
That's the most powerful force. There's this guy when I was in year 2 or year 3. His name what's his name again? I'll remember his name later. But this guy he used to do when in school that time. So he used to do photography. So he started off following this guy that had a camera. So he was always going around, now, all this photography stuff. So somehow, he was able to get his own camera. Then from there, he now started doing like all these. For example, if a girl wants to do birthday shoots, that I was charging 5K, 10K. So at the point, I was even interested, but I wasn't consistent with it. But this guy kept on. As I speak to you now, I checked his page beginning of this year. This guy takes Davido's pictures.
Are you serious?
As in, it's not that there are people that when they hear Davido is somewhere, they run there, they take the picture, and I'm saying Davido posts his picture with his watermark on his own page. On his own page. That's for this thing by and he tags him. That's how big. I mean, this guy started. I know where he started from, but it's just that consistency. So that's like, you must always, if anything you want to do, whether it's bombing, it's not bringing money, anything you want, just tell yourself that today we go again, tomorrow we go again. So that's the most important thing when you're learning a skill, in my opinion.
Then I think maybe when you decide on what skill to learn, I think it's always nice to most people try to build a community, but I always say that you should just join one first and learn how it works. Community allows you to, be with like minds, learn with each other, and also be accountable as well. So learn a skill, I think, then get into a community that will enable you to build out that skill upwards.
Just to add to the community, I don't know, there are a lot of skills a lot. And a lot of people wish out, oh, even in tech, there's a lot. Even outside tech, I'm thinking about photography now. I know someone on the makeup. I know there's a lot of stuff that is going on now. But so I can't really say for specific things. But one general place I know that provides a very robust community for any skill whatsoever is Reddit. If you go on, I don't know if you've ever, but this is the best advice I can give you for someone who's trying to learn a skill. And a lot of what we have said so far in this podcast is skill. Because really, what else do you want to do? You want to just be sitting down and be looking at the sky? There is no class at all. And it's not like you were working before. Your full-time work was to be a student. And now they've taken the full-time work from you. So all you have now is time. So Reddit is the most classic, is the most specific community that can really guide you. There's a subreddit for people that want to start out companies, for startups. There's a Reddit community for people that are just getting into photography. And
I just deleted the app, and now you're telling me this.
You need to go and download it back. Because another thing that Reddit does is that because Reddit is anonymous, so people can ask questions freely and people answer freely. I've seen there are even so many times that like go and search on Reddit and then the person who answers me or who answers the question. Another thing is that there's no question that's really new under the sun. So you see someone that, oh, how do I get started into tech? You now see someone answer like, oh, hi there, I live in New Jersey. I've been in tech for 40 years. This person is your grandfather in tech. It's not even your father in tech. This one has been coding since Windows was not Windows 1. And like people are there giving advice. Like they're giving you, okay, do this. Oh, how do I get my first job remotely? Do this. So like Reddit is and it's not just, oh, you go there and you're like typing on Google. Google is very general. There's like subreddits for photography, subreddit for UI UX, subreddit for programming, subreddit for you want to get into makeup. You get so that is a very amazing. The app is just there. Just go inside ask your questions or search questions and just. So like you're saying, community is very important. And the most important thing about it is that it fast tracks your process. Yeah. It fast tracks your process. At the point I started learning code, I remember one time I was trying to do this. It's not logo, but like the first page of an app, and it was this bug thing is mad. You can get frustrated, and I just went there, and someone just like broke it down in like 3, and and the whole thing was just for me to delete one character, and the whole code was flowing. I was like, and I was only for 3 days. 3 days of frustration. 3 days of frustration. And it was just there. Someone just answered it. And so, like, it really fast tracks your progress. And it helps you from making expensive mistakes. For example, think of someone that goes to go and buy the kind of eyeliner she's not supposed to buy. And she has used like, 10K on it. That's money gone now. But because she has found out what she should buy, she saves on that 10K. So it just fast tracks the process.
I think I wanted to ask you a question.
Okay, what's the question?
The question is, do you think people would come back to school after? Do you think people will come back to school like after this whole thing? Like after a year of not even like experiencing it, do you think there's some people that will be like, oh, we don't think school is right for us at the moment? Or do you think the general people will be like, oh, school is back in, let's jump in?
Okay, so I have a younger brother. My younger brother is an engineering student in Unilag. He has been. This strike is so funny because I remember back then he wanted to get into a what they call these programs where they teach you for a couple of months. No, not the exact. There's a category name for all of them. So where they train you. Anyway, all these tech programs that are coming up now where they train you for like, I think 1 year, then they give you an internship, something like that. So the program was 12 months. I remember he was telling me, oh, I want to get into that. I was like, that they might call us this strike soon, they might call us this strike soon. He started learning full stack developer. He's 6 months in now. Out of old. Imagine if he chilled then. And he even tells him randomly that if they call, so that's how teasing. I was like, oh, they have called us strike, come and pack your bag and go back to school. And he would just tell me that, see, there's no way that book wants to enter my head again. I believe that if people come back now, if they call off strike, miracle, which is funny because they had a meeting and they are postponing the strike again, indefinite times 2. So if they call off the strike now, people are less motivated to go to school. People will be way less there, and among those who have charted a path for themselves career-wise, they will not come back. They would not come back. There are people that right now, with the skill or whatever they are doing, they can already see that, okay, by this time next year, I'm earning 500k per month, I'm earning 1M per month, I'm earning 2M per month in 2024. They are not going to come back to school. Why? The reason why they will not come back because it isn't worth it. Because there's no guarantee that if they come back now, January 2023, there will not be another 12-month strike. There's no guarantee at all. So they will not come back. But those are usually for people who have like a clear path that, this is it. So
another question I wanted to ask you is, do you think school is meant for everyone? Like, do you think, because I think we've always been, will I say, it's like there's a path to, nursery, primary, secondary school. After secondary school, you write JAMB. After JAMB, you pick your school of choice. You enter in. And we've never been given like an option for most people. Most people just say that this, get to school. After, some people have the option of, they don't even have the option, they have the roadmap of after school, get your master's, from master's to PhD, then you can settle. So do you think really, like, at this rate, is really meant for everyone? Because I was listening to a podcast last week and they were talking about, I think Biden gave like forgiveness
for the student
loan less than, I think, 125,000.
So if you are earning, the summary was that if you are earning 120k and above, you don't get the
forgiveness.
But if you earn less, you get it. So people are always now saying that he's trying to use it and vote by against their midterms.
He promised that, so it's fair, does that? He promised that he's going to forgive loans. But I was listening to a couple of guys and they were basically saying that it will incentivize some people, because the people that, it will incentivize schools to even increase their tuition, because they know that our government will still pay them back. So it will incentivize students that would ordinarily have not bothered with a particular course. Do you get? That's a course that doesn't, and I think they mentioned, that's where I got the psychology, philosophy stuff from. That yes, it's good, but is it productive?
Yes.
Do you get? Like, is it worth paying $50,000 for? Like, do you get? Like, wait. So the question was always like, there are obviously courses that would impact, like engineering, law, medicine. Those people have to go to school.
Just a random fact. Let me just add to that. I was reading something recently. This was about Biden also he also signed the CHIPS Act. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that.
So the reason why now they're playing catch up to Asia. And I was reading something, I think it was yesterday or today. The whole battery and EV stuff, the EV market, most of the supply, about 60% plus, is from Asia.
Exactly.
So now they're playing catch up. And what happened back then is that Asia was sending people to America to learn. And then brought them back. That, okay, now you're back, build factories. One of the main reasons why China and US are howling over Taiwan is because Taiwan makes the most semiconductors in the TSMC, Taiwanese Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. So they own the market share for semiconductors. And semiconductors, just to put it in perspective, semiconductors power almost everything now. Your smartwatch, your TV. Now we have smart TVs, we have smartwatches, we have, in fact, down to even trackers. Your AirPod, is it AirTag or what do you Apple users call it? No, the tag that you place to when you misplace something. I think it's called AirTag or something like that. So that is how important it was for them to invest in that back then, and now they are seeing the dividends. So I was just adding that.
The people that learn these things, they're engineering. Like that's how important those courses are, and that's how important that if you're thinking of, I want to take this bet and spend 4 years in school and pay this amount of money and this amount of time as well. Chicken. The ROI at the end of the day should be significant, and that was what I got from the episode on that podcast. And I'm just thinking, like, for the average Nigerian, we don't even think that way. We just think that let's just so in Nigeria now, we just think that we'll just let's enter university and finish first. That truth said, what we study is not what we do. Right? So my point is, if you know that what you study is not what you do, so why study it? Why spend 4 years doing nothing only to come out to do something? Why can't you just do that something?
Okay, so in
relation, so like, do you think everyone is actually meant to just go to school? Do you think it's important? Do you think it's like we have to factor in the Nigerian, because Nigerian education, we don't spend $50,000 on
that's
true. So what do you think about that?
But another thing you need to also consider is that, and a mistake a lot of people don't really recognize in their day-to-day living, is that time is a very expensive resource. I was talking to a friend of mine. This friend of mine, he went to a private school. We went to the same secondary school, so we finished same time. He went to a private school. This guy has almost 3 years more working experience just because I went to a public school. And when he was telling me, so we caught up recently, and he was telling me about his like career progress. I'm just like, wait, did we finish the same time? But then I did the maths. I spent almost like 2-3 years extra in school, all because of this back and forth. But that's by the way. So time is and it's something you must always consider in everything. It's not just, it's something you must consider in relationships. Are you wasting your time in this situation? It's something you must consider in your money. Should I invest? Time is very important, and even more important than money, because with time you can make money. You know, a lot of people say, oh, my money, what's the saying? Money, my time is money. My time is money. So time is very important. So it's not just, because we did not go to a public school, because we not spend 1 million. I think now the average will be like 1 M for private schools. It doesn't mean that our education is invalid. We wasted time. At least maybe you wasted, because my course was 5 years. So probably you wasted like 1.5 years. Mine was like 3 years, all because of public school. But back to the question, the most important fintech innovations to me personally that every day I wake up on this planet and I thank God for. Number one is the fact that there are POS machines everywhere. And number two, the fact that I can buy credit in seconds on my phone. To everyone else, that's small. But if you told someone in 2003 that you can walk anywhere and literally withdraw money anywhere, and you know, the first time I ever saw POS, like, I thought I was only to take money. I didn't know that you can do the whole bank transactions there. You can deposit, you can withdraw, and my mind was so blown. I can't remember last time I went to the bank just because of it. Or if there's a queue somewhere for the ATM line, I just pay the charge, and it's so wonderful. But it's also, if you told someone something like that, if you pitched that idea to him in 2003, 2001, he would have called you a madman. But it's just a factor that things change. And that's one thing that the educational sector in Nigeria doesn't recognize, that things change. Back then, in my year 2 or 3, we had a man teach us, I think it was engineering maths. So the manual he told us to go and photocopy, the dates for the manual, like when it was produced, was there. And I think the manual was from like 2005 or 2003. So we were reproducing in 2005. I understand that maths doesn't change, division, but still, there needs to be like, that's why people make updated books. It's a book I'm currently reading, something investor, is about one wealthy guy from Australia. So every year he makes sure that he updates, because in the book he mentions like banks you should use and investment strategies or investment, what do they have abroad? This 401k. Okay. So like your retirement pension funds you should use in Australia, not in Nigeria. So he updates it every single year, because when he first started the book, things change, the interest rates change and all that. So you need to constantly update. Our educational system does not update. So if you go with the mindset of, I'm going to enter school now. By the time I come out, I'll be an excellent petroleum engineer. You might be an excellent petroleum engineer for a petroleum company in 2012, but you're not an excellent petroleum engineer for a petroleum company in 2022. I was seeing something recently about Saudi Arabia. So this guy on Twitter, he posted how a lot of our oil lag in terms of what we are producing, what we are seeing. That we are producing this much, but how much are we seeing in revenue? A lot of it is lost towards theft, bunkering, and all that. And there was this interview. So this guy shared a clip of this interview. It was one of Saudi Aramco. Yeah. That's the largest oil company in the world. Yeah. That's owned by Saudi Arabia. It's state-owned, right? Yes. Okay. I just want to clarify. So it's state-owned, and they were interviewing because they made a record profit recently. We talked about that in our last episode. So this interviewer was like going around. He went to their office. And so this man was taking this one Emirati, so he was taking her around, showing her. He showed her like a 27-foot, I don't know if it's 27, but I think 27 feet long screen. And in the screen, he said it on camera, he said, every single drop of oil that comes out through our pipelines, we monitor it from here. That is crazy. Meanwhile here, they are using funnel. And it's just that, they are robbing one pipeline in LML. Oh yeah, boys, go there. Do you get what I'm saying? So that is a 2022 petroleum engine. That's what the 2022 petroleum. What are they teaching you in class? If you come out, and that is, most of the industries know this. In fact, banks, it's a standard practice. I have a friend that she just finished her training. When they want to take you from, they give you like 6 months or 3 to 6 months probation period where they reteach you everything, just for you to be acceptable to work in their industry. So the question is, what were you doing all that time in school? It was a waste of time now. So we need, there's a very important need for us to revamp. And the thing is, the only person that can revamp our educational system is the minister. And in this time and age, pending the incoming, let's stop there. But based on what we've just had people that were not too serious with it. They will just find one person that maybe they owe favor and they put him there. The people that are supposed to change it are not going to change it. So if you enter there thinking that my own will be different, your own is not going to be different. Most people that get jobs out of school had to work on themselves, personally. So to answer that question, I was just giving all this for context. And it's always good if you provide context, not just yes or no. So the answer is no, it is not. And this even goes beyond, because you might say, for let's not mention, but what do you mention? For philosophy and all those other courses that are not so relevant in Nigerian industry. I'm not saying they're not relevant, but in the Nigerian industry, their relevance is limited. So it's not just, even the main ones, the engineering, the only one I know that still, you cannot still subsidize the learning is medicine. You cannot learn medicine on Udemy. If you carry and learn, you will use your sister or your brother to be investigating liver. Do you understand? So I personally don't believe, especially from someone who suffered in the hands of public school system, I do not believe. Maybe someone that went to a private school might have a different experience, but and I speak for the majority of people, because majority of people go to public schools. How many people can afford current? So that's my answer.
Just even for me, like I studied accounting. I feel like that was not needed because like even after the 3 to 4 years you spend in school, you still have to write ICANN to be an accountant.
So why not just prepare for the ICANN outside?
Yes. Like
use 2 years and prepare for the ICANN outside
and just write
start your life.
You get like it's just okay. Why?
I had there was a guy, he dropped out year 4. It is a very crazy thing for you to, and we have experienced strikes. We have put it like, there's something called sunk cost fallacy, whereby you continue to stay in a situation because you've already, Ngozi has already invested so much in Shegun, but Shegun has been using her destiny to, so she remains just because she has. So that's basically sunk cost. This guy left in year 4. In 1 year, he was already working at one of the payment processors. And of course, he went to civil engineer, so they didn't teach you anything about working in the payment processor. He learned everything on his own. And he was probably going to be earning more than a graduate trainee in a construction company he was going to earn. So what was the point?
So and someone also mentioned, like, okay, yes, someone might say yes, you're right with some courses we don't need to study them. You just have to learn the skills. 2 years, you earn it, then maybe enter the job market or the workforce. What about the social experience of being in a university? That also helps in shaping who someone is. And I always say that, like, so are you saying that the only way you can get social experience is in the university? Like, is that the only way you can make friends? Is that the only way you can interact?
Well, to answer that, I don't believe so. I think that there's a very essential part of university when it comes to like meeting people that will be relevant even after school. But if you check it, especially for those that have gone to school, by the time you leave school, majority of your, let's say out of the 100% of people you're talking to in school, by the time you leave school, you're talking to like maximum 20%. Sure, you've built skills over time, but you could build those skills. I always say that the best teacher, it's not experience, it's knowledge. So a lot of people want to, but in school, there's a guy that used to bully me on the second floor and I learned resilience. Papa, pick up a book on resilience and learn resilience. Do you understand? I saw a book recently about the joy of being selfish. So this woman was talking about like setting up boundaries and how in all her life people had always worked on her. If they needed something, they would just call her. I don't know her name. Let me just paraphrase. Let's say her name is Joyce. Joyce, there's a party by 9 p.m. Even though she's tired, she'll still pull up and go, even though she wasn't swimming. So all she had to do was, give that book to her future or to her past self to read the book and understand. Do you get? The best teacher is not experience. See, and it goes always, relationship-wise, money. You don't need to lose money in Ponzi scheme and let it pay you. You know, there are some people like me now that have lost money before and know how it felt. And so I've learned. If I had seen a book or someone sat me down that time that don't do this, so I'd have saved myself money now. Do you get? So I don't believe that experience that because you need to go through the 4 years so that you can experience bad boys, bad girls, bad lecturers, and all that. I'm not one of those people that believes that. I believe that everything you can learn, and that's the best way to do it.
I think we've learned a lot in this episode. This episode is like very deep.
Yes.
It's deeper
than usual. Just give you a recap so people don't get lost, because there's a lot of learning, but also. So just a recap, we talked about skills. So that's the most important thing you can do in this time. Build up on skills. And it doesn't just have to be like technical skills. You can also build up on personality skills. I was thinking about the book, The Joy of Being Selfish. So I'm not saying you go outside and be selfish and not give anybody money, but do you understand? Just building up on yourself. Those things that you know that you struggle with. For example, some people don't know how to listen. Everybody around you complain that you never listen. Or all your past partners have told you, or you know that you're terrible in relationships, you don't understand, you lack empathy. Just pick up a book just Google, how can I pick up a book, read, become a better, or you know you're shy, how can I come out of my shyness? Google it, find a book, read. So this you have a lot of time, and it's very easy to just fall into the worst thing you can do for yourself now is just to be looking at the sun. Because really we depreciate if you're not learning anything. We depreciate, you're not learning anything, and if you are controlled by the forces of social media. So that's all I have to recap on.
So guys, thank you for listening to The Slice. Please follow us on, I think where are we following us on? Twitter on Kebu HQ. We are not going to follow us on Instagram, Kebu HQ, LinkedIn. I think we'll also join our community, because I think we are giving out freebies now every Friday. We have like tests. It's not tests, like quiz, Abby. And you have to test your knowledge in finance.
Like all this gist stuff that happens.
Yeah, all the major gist stuff that is happening.
Finance-wise.
We have an investment option coming up, I think, in this week. So
you think or you know?
I know. 2 investment options.
Very careful.
Like our last episode was about dollar mania. We're providing dollar investments now, so get ready for that.
But it's 2 ways you are making money. So capital appreciation on the real estate asset, and also the way dollar the buga. Yeah. So it's 2 ways you are making money. I just wanted to add that.
So join our community. It's really like below the link. Just click and join. It's on Telegram. Very interactive. Be part of the movement, and see you guys in our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.